Hi everyone and welcome back to the Call of Duty Zombies series, in which I look back at Call of Duty Zombies maps from the past, how they hold up today, the history of the map, the story, the cut content, all of that good stuff. But today I'll be specifically looking at the Zombies map Verrückt. So without further ado, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and let's get into it.
It's over.
No, it ain't over. This is just the beginning.
So in terms of the development history, Verrückt released on March 19th back in 2009 for Call of Duty World at War as the second map in Call of Duty Zombies history. Verrückt, meaning crazy or insane in German, also known as the Zombie Asylum, takes place at Group 935's asylum facility in the Wittenau Sanatorium and is a direct remake of the World at War multiplayer map called Asylum, as back in 2009 Zombies wasn't as big as it is now and didn't have its own, dedicated team or director. So back then they would sort of just port the World at War multiplayer maps and transform them into Zombies maps. Okay, so now for the storyline of the map. Verrückt takes place in 1945, where Tank Dempsey, John Banana, Smokey and Paxton Gunner Ridge arrive at the Group 935 asylum facility to extract American spy Peter McCain to safety. That was their mission. They then find the asylum facility overrun by zombies and try to fight off the horde as long as they can. Sadly, all of the soldiers par 2 are killed in action, as they can be sort of heard in various radios throughout the series, except for Tank Dempsey and Gunner, who I'll talk about later. Tank Dempsey is then later retrieved by 935, as they think, at least at the time, he's the sole survivor of the mission, where he's taken by Group 935, shipped off to the Call of the Dead Siberia facility as a test subject for Edward Richthofen, and that's when they first meet. In World at War, the player characters are the Marines who I've just listed. However, while in the other versions of the map, so Black Ops 1 onwards, those versions of Verrückt, the rest of the characters are actually the Ultimus crew, being Dempsey, Richthofen, Takeo and Nikolai. This is an interesting change. I imagine they changed it to make the map more, I guess, cohesive with the rest of the zombie storyline, as with Black Ops 1 you had Ascension, Shangri-La, Moon, etc. So I feel like they wanted to unify that experience. Other than all that, there's not really a lot of story, as this map came out in 2009 before the zombie story really took hold in Shinonuma and Darius, but nevertheless this map is still a great standalone classic experience that they then later went back and tied into the story, for example tying it into Alpha Omega and maps like Revelations and Call of the Dead. Verrückt is a great sequel map. This was the second ever map, coming straight after Nachter und Toten, which was more of an Easter egg than a full-fledged map. So Verrückt had a lot to do to innovate the Zombies series further. Verrückt is a larger map than Nachter und Toten, having more than triple the rooms, features, weapons and utilities. However, the biggest new features came in the form of the perker colon machines, which mirror different multiplayer perks from World at War. These of course included Juggernog for increased health, Quick Revive for faster revive speeds, and then in prior versions also revives you when you go down in solo, in like Black Ops 1 for example, and Black Ops 3 etc, Speed Cola for faster reload speeds, and Double Tap for rapid fire shooting. These perks are so iconic for Call of Duty as a franchise. Without these perks, I don't think Zombies would have succeeded much further past Nachter and Toten. These perks are still being used today in, Vanguard, sort of Cold War, MW3 zombies, etc., and feature as popular merchandise. If you go on the Call of Duty website, you can buy like lamps and t-shirts and perk bottles and cans and all the rest of it, and all of these perks also have their iconic soundtracks with the jingles where you walk past them throughout the map. You can hear the Juggernog jingle, the Speed Cola jingle, the Mule Kick jingle, whichever, and this perk system has evolved, but it's really nice to see where it all began in World at War. Verrückt was also the first map to feature the power switch, something so simple to think about. We also got the electric traps by turning on the power, but it's weird to think that these features, which are now staples of every map going forward past Verrückt, which first featured here. I mean, you think of Call of Duty Zombies, you know, the first things you think of, right, I've got to get quick revive, I've got to get the power, then maybe if I'm doing high rounds I can get some traps and get Juggernog, etc. And it's really weird to think about that at a point in time these were brand new concepts and these had never been done before. Like, for example, I remember when the perks first came out in Verrückt and it was just something brand new. And I think because of all of that, we overlooked as a map a whole lot. But also, alongside Dead of the Night from Black Ops 4 and Carrier from Exo Zombies, Verrückt is one of the only maps in history to have two spawn areas, which are separated by an electric door. This was really cool in co-op, especially for like a first time playthrough, because you essentially spawn in and you'll have two players on one side of the map and two players on the other, meaning that both groups of players have to sort of go different paths throughout the map to open up the whole map. The door in the middle will only open if the power switch is activated in the middle, and that by proxy means that Verrückt is very expertly designed. You have to go both ways to either activate the power switch right in the middle. And the map is more close quarters than Nacta and Totem was, having many short hallways, staircases and training spots, making it great, a really hard classic experience for veterans, especially people going into World at War in Black Ops 1. So in terms of cameo appearances, Verrückt appears obviously in World at War as DLC 1, but then also features in Black Ops 1 if you pre-ordered the game's Hardened Edition or got the Resurrection map pack with Moon. In Black Ops 1, Verrückt features the Black Ops 1 gameplay system, weapons, Winter's Howl as the map's only wonder weapon, which is a load of crap to be honest. The Winter's Howl really just needs buffing as a whole if it ever comes back again, as well as Mule Kick, which was added when Moon came out as a part of the Resurrection map pack. A fractured portion of Verrückt also appears in Revelations for Black Ops 3, featuring elements spliced together with Zetsubo no Shima, such as the sort of plant pods. But in BO3, Verrückt also appears in Zombie Chronicles, fully remastered with better graphics, better lighting, Black Ops 3 elements such as the Black Ops 3 hood, weapons, the Wunderfizz machine, Mule Kick once again, the Black Ops 3 wonder weapons, so we're talking the Ray Gun Mark II, Gobblegums and many more side Easter eggs, which I'll go on to in the Easter egg section. Verrückt then also appears as the Asylum in Black Ops 4's Blackout Battle Royale map, where the map reuses assets specifically from Zombie Chronicles, but then the Asylum featured includes more rooms than Verrückt and overall is a cleaner, refined, untouched and sort of horrorless version of Verrückt. There's a lot less blood, there's sort of clean floors, clean doors, clean walls, all of that kind of stuff, but it's still very much an Asylum. In Blackout, the map also contains zombie-specific weapons, zombies roaming around mid-match near Verrückt, and so on. You can also get things like the mystery box, the monkey bombs, the ray gun, only in the zombie-specific areas on the Blackout map. Verrückt also appeared in the iOS Zombies game mode, as well as on Call of Duty Online, which was a Chinese-only mode known as Cyborg Rising, where the map was remade with cyborg aesthetics and mechanics, and really warrants its own video to be honest, because it's a very surreal experience. This was because in China there were different laws which show that you can't show things like blood and bones and skeletons, meaning that they had to think outside of the box when making Call of Duty Online in China, and they made it a cyborg mode. And again, I will definitely cover this more so in its own video, as it definitely warrants it. Okay, so Easter eggs. There's no main Easter egg in Verrückt, as they just hadn't been invented yet. There was no main quest mode in Verrückt. Again, it just wasn't a thing back then. But there are several minor Easter eggs that can be found among the many versions of the map. These include radios to find out about the story, background and what actually happened at the facility. These also include different versions of Verrückt. For example, in Revelations, there's a radio about Banana, I believe it is, or it's Smokey, talking about how they've all been killed. But there's also the general atmosphere and horror aspects of the map. Verrückt is a very unique map because it was the first map to really include extra horror elements. For example, if you go up to the dentist chair in one of the spawn areas, if you interact with the side of the wheel, with it emanating a person screaming, and you can also hear the person screaming in pain, and you can hear the sound of dentistry equipment. You can also, when you walk around the map, you can hear things like eerie music, screaming in the walls, banging on the walls, and crying coming from certain rooms. All of these things make Verrückt a very unsettling experience solo, or if you're younger, playing late at night in a dark room by yourself. Again, hearing the banging on the wall or the screaming is really unsettling. However, exclusive to the Black Ops 3 version, around the map you can find Samantha dolls as a part of Zombie Chronicles, which also feature in every other Zombie Chronicle map. This was like a unified Easter egg across all of the maps included in Zombie Chronicles, which finding all of the Samantha dolls in a set time nets you a max ammo. Okay, so on to trivia time. This is the trivia portion of the video where I look at cool and sometimes weird facts about the map. So first off, did you know that Verrückt is actually the first ever zombies map to feature super sprinters, especially in World at War? Mixed in with, I guess, the difficulty of World at War and the fact that you can get swiped in 2 hits and downed, these guys are actually incredibly difficult, and especially where it's a, more close quarters experience, a more horror experience, having a zombie just sprinting full at you, sort of like how, I guess, zombies sprint in games like Left 4 Dead, for example. These zombies will come straight at you and they just will not care, and they will down you really quickly, and this was a cool feature at the time, making the map a lot more difficult. Did you also know that the musical Easter egg Lullaby for a Dead Man by Kevin Sherwood and Elena Siegman can be activated on this map? You activate this song by flushing all of the toilets in a certain order on the map upstairs at the top corner of the map. Personally, I just spam the action button on the toilets until the song plays because, it's not really going to do any difference. Next up, the 4th Marine's identity was revealed in a note in the map Alpha Omega in Black Ops 4 as Paxton Gunner Ridge, as before that we just didn't know the identity of this Marine. He somehow managed to escape the asylum and was actually presumed to be the only survivor of the mission. Did you know it was once possible to deploy a machine gun in the little room where the bar machine gun is located? The feature can still be seen in the Verrückt Zombies trailer all the way back from World at War back in 2009, and honestly this little room here is kind of interesting, as it's okay to camp in with 4 players co-op, even more so in Black Ops 3 with like the Ray Gun Mark II and Gobblegums, but it's just a really weird area where it includes a very overpriced gun with essentially what it is, it's just a cupboard with like a hole in the wall facing the other corridor, so you can shoot at the corridor without being hit, and there's only one door, meaning that if you have 4 people covering that one door, you should be okay. And finally, the last little fact here is that in the remastered version of Verrückt in Black Ops 3, the fountain has been replaced with a new one with a statue of a little girl atop it, full of blood. As you kill zombies around the maps and set off explosives, that sort of thing, blood will actually pour out of the fountain, and it's just a nice little Easter egg, and again adds to the horror element of the map. This feature is also carried over into Blackout. So in conclusion, Verrückt is important as it's the first map to introduce perks, traps, power, movable box locations. The storyline as a whole sort of started to take a foothold here, as the Marines, this is another fun fact I suppose, the Marines actually have quotes in this map, as in Nocturne and Toten, they're just completely silent. But this map just introduced a lot of things and innovated as a whole. Like I said earlier, it's weird to think about that these features, which are now staples of every map going forward, first featured here in Verrückt, and I think it's because of all of that we overlooked as a map a whole lot. I feel like Verrückt is a very overlooked map, but Verrückt to me isn't as good as other maps due to the fact that, for me at least, it's just too tight, it's too close quarters, and it's very difficult, especially in World at War, as this map doesn't feature Pack-a-Punch, it doesn't feature, wonder weapons in World at War. The only wonder weapon on the map is the ray gun, and I think all of that with the super sprinters just make it a very difficult map, and I think Verrückt gets let down by the underwhelming wonder weapons in the form of the Winter's Howl in Black Ops 1, and I feel like something like the Wunderwaffe, for example, would have been a better suit for this map, especially with the, I guess, electricity theme with the power. It's just something weird to think about, but yeah, this map, I don't usually come back to it to play it. I'd say I maybe play it once a year just because I'm not really that bothered about playing it. But overall, Verrückt is a great, I guess, map for ambience and horror. You've got the screaming, the banging on the walls, and it's something that was then later implemented in maps like Mob of the Dead and Zetsubo. And I think Verrückt, just the fact that it introduced the perks as a whole, again, it's just innovative, and it was a great second map, and without Verrückt, I don't think we'd have zombies as we currently know it. Okay, thank you very much. That's been my zombies retrospective video on the map Verrückt. If you guys want to watch videos on Nocturne, Toten, Transit, as well as Kino, I've already done videos on those maps, which will be a playlist both in the description and at the end card of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and for more Call of Duty Zombies content, as well as map reviews and retrospective and news and all that good stuff, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and maybe give me a follow on X as well, as I'm quite prominent on there. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye.